Kitco News headed to Spokane this week to bring you the Great Silver Debate exclusively on Kitco.com. The debate features CPM's Jeff Christian and GATA's Bill Murphy to talk about the subject everyone loves talking about. Are the precious metals prices rigged, manipulated? Call it what you want. Today I have Jeff Christian on the line with me today for a pre-show interview. Jeff, thank you so much for being with me.
It's always a pleasure to be with Kitco.
All right, Jeff, so we'll be seeing you later on in the week in Spokane for the Great Silver Debate. But how do you feel about tackling an issue that I know GATA holds very close to their heart?
Yes. Well, I debated them last year in May of 2010 in an audio debate that Kitco and Jim Puplava's Financial Sense broadcast. And I think that any reasonable person that listened to that debate heard that GATA actually has absolutely no evidence of anything, and I think they pretty much revealed themselves to be what they are, which is a group that makes money by basically bilking gold investors out of fees to support GATA so they don't have to get legitimate jobs.
All right, I have a feeling this is going to be a very heated debate, but Jeff, what is your main point that you're going to be bringing to Spokane?
Well, I'm giving a presentation earlier called Silver, Gold, and Economic Myths. And basically what I'm going to do is go through a lot of things that people assume to be true and show that they're really not true. Some of my charts are pretty hard-hitting in terms of what the economic reality really is. It's not a Panglossian type of, things are really fine. It's, there are real economic problems, but I think that they have been distorted by politicians and other demagogues, and so I hope to go through a list of myths about the Constitution, the overall economy, the gold market, and the silver market in that presentation, and I assume that that will spill over into the debate.
So Jeff, what's your answer when people say, hey, the silver price should be much higher than what it is, and the inventories just aren't there?
Well, the silver inventories are there. Anybody who needs silver, they can give us a call. They can hire us. We can get them as much silver as they want. And one of the things that I will bring out in Spokane is the extent to which, while, COMEX reported inventories are off 5 million ounces so far this year, silver ETF holdings are still up, I believe, in excess of 550 million ounces, and there is about 18 million ounces of silver that's come out of those things that are sitting in dealer inventories in London, waiting for anybody who really wants to buy them. So I think that there's plenty of silver there. In terms of whether or not the silver price is higher, I think if you look at the silver price is very high. I think those people who are waiting for $100 silver have a lot longer to wait. And what I've always said is, yes, the silver price can spike much higher, but it can't stay there. And that's because there is so much silver around, both in refined form and in mineable form. I mean, one of the charts that I have in my presentation shows the fact that we have more silver in reserves, mineable reserves today than we did in 1980, even though we've mined several billion ounces of silver in the intervening 30 years.
Right, Jeff. And when you say we can get inventories, who are you referring to?
Well, I was talking about CPM Group, but the fact of the matter is there's enormous amounts of silver. If you want a 1,000-ounce bar, you can have it. The Perth Mint actually is groaning with silver bars that they would love for somebody to come in and buy and move out of there. Because they basically filled themselves up. And a lot of other depositories are filled up. I mean, the depository world is building more depositories over the last few years and continuing than ever before. And even every time they build a depository, it gets filled up in record periods of time. And this is true around the world. And those depositories are being filled up with gold and silver. Now, you can say, well, those gold and silver inventories are held by investors, and that's true. But the investors can sell them at any given time, as we saw, for example, in May when investors sold tens of millions of ounces of silver to take advantage of the fact that the price had gotten up to $49, and then, even at $33, you still saw a tremendous amount of profit-taking by investors. So, to say that the silver and gold is not there is just nonsensical because it's there.
Right, Jeff, there's a popular theory that the COMEX will default according to many. What's your response to that?
The COMEX has never had a systemic default, and it probably never will. The COMEX is a futures exchange, and it has all kinds of mechanisms to resolve congestion if there are problems there. You can settle for cash. That's well known. It's not a matter of changing the rules the way some of these guys who don't understand the rules say. It's a matter of imposing the rules. The COMEX is a futures exchange on which people trade futures. That said, I really don't expect there ever to be a delivery problem in the COMEX silver contract, at least not for many, 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 many decades, simply because the people who actually get involved in the COMEX are not seeking to take physical delivery, and they don't necessarily care to.
So, Jeff, if I ask you your current view of the markets and the COMEX inventories, your response would be healthy?
Well, yeah, our view of markets is that it's very healthy and it's going to continue. The rubric that we're using for gold and silver is that we may be at or approaching a cyclical peak in a secular bull market. We think that the prices will stay high for a number of years because investors are going to remain worried about the overall economic environment and the financial market and the political system on a global basis. And that's going to keep investors buying gold and silver as long-term assets. We're not necessarily convinced that it's going to drive the prices much higher beyond, say, the next few months on a sustainable basis.
So, Jeff, what do you think will be the strongest punch that Bill Murphy will be bringing along with him?
I don't know that Bill Murphy has any legitimate punches. I can't imagine anything that he could say that can't be refuted very easily.
All right, Jeff. Well, we look forward to this great debate.
Okay, I look forward to it.
You can watch the Great Silver Debate exclusively on Kitco.com on October 22nd, so make sure to register. For Kitco News, I'm Daniela Cambone. Thank you for watching.